Hi everyone, welcome to another battle video. Here you'll see me playing my Darkrai deck against Michael and his GothiGor deck. And this is honestly the worst matchup Darkrai can possibly have, and you're about to see why. Little background on GothiGor. It won the US National Championships. I think that surprised a lot of people. They considered GothiGor to be a good deck, but not a great deck. A fun deck to play, maybe take on battle roads, but not to the national championship. And on top of that, it won. Using the strategy that you're about to see. If you're familiar with GothiGor, then you probably can guess right away, you know, how bad I lost. But if you're not familiar with GothiGor, I'll tell you the strategy as it comes up. But basically, Michael was just playing this for fun. He has no intention of actually playing with it, as in order for it to really work competitively, it requires Tropical Beach. And Tropical Beach right now is a $200 card. I know he at one point had one beach, but he sold it. So, I don't know if he actually has another one right now or several, but for whatever reason, he doesn't. He does play Tropical Beach in this deck, but he has proxies instead of the real card. So, and you know, this is League. Playing with proxies is fine, but Tropical Beach is really required in order to make this deck viable. Otherwise, it can work, but it's slower and it's not as guaranteed. So he's just playing this for fun, just to see how well he knows the deck, and probably just to for a change of pace, because at this point he's playing his Darkrai deck. He probably has a Blastoise deck as well and a Plasma deck, and he's just like, oh, let's try something new. So he has several basic Pokemon in his hand. I do not. I don't know who won the coin flip there, but here I'm trying to think of what to talk about while I stall. My wife is in the.
I'm trolling you.
My wife is in the background watching me record this, so I won't have many videos up this coming up week because I'll be at home for Thanksgiving, and by home I mean Texas. I go to school in Nebraska, but I originate from Texas, so I'm going there for Thanksgiving. So there won't be any videos in the next week, or maybe there will be if I manage to get up a battle video from playing the video games. I have been recording some video game battles that I hope to post online. Unfortunately, I do not have a capture card, so it'll just be me pointing the camera at the 3DS screen. But hopefully I'll be able to make those entertaining enough. I have several battle videos up that I really want to get up. Hopefully I'll be able to do that during Thanksgiving break, but if I don't, then you have been warned. And of course, after I get back, I'll be filming a lot more videos at League, so that'll be more stuff for you guys to watch. So I mulliganed again. Let's see if I get one basic this time. I see one basic. Nope, I see two. So actually, the way the camera's positioned, I can see his hand a whole lot better than mine. That's probably just the way it worked out. He has a pretty good start. He opens up with Mew EX and Shelmet and Tropical Beach. He's going to play Ultra Ball here, get rid of a Shelmet, and looks like he's debating between Floatstone, Rare Candy. Nope, he's going to get rid of Dusknoir. And really, Dusknoir is more of a tech. It's not required to make this deck work at all, but he likes to spread the damage so my active doesn't get knocked out, and thus I have a turn to attack, because that could be devastating if I'm allowed to attack even once. So he goes for a Gothitelle with his Ultra Ball, and really he's all set for getting an Accelgor in play and a Gothitelle. Accelgor has a move called Deck and Cover. It inflicts 50 damage, and you have to shuffle Accelgor and all cards attached to it. That would include all energies needed to use Deck and Cover, typically double colorless energy, and the Shelmet that it evolved from, into your deck, and thus you need to promote a new active Pokemon. and that's where Gothitelle comes in. Its ability is Magic Room, which prevents your opponent from using item cards. Deck and Cover also paralyzes and poisons the opponent. He plays in here, by the way, just in case you guys didn't know. But I figured you guys could watch the video while I explain how this works. So, you use Deck and Cover to paralyze and poison your opponent. Unless they run Switch or Keldeo, they are stuck there and they cannot attack during their turn. I run Keldeo, but during this game it was prized. And I could not get to it. So after Deck and Cover, you move Accelgor back into your deck, and you promote Gothitelle as your new active, and Magic Room prevents your opponent from using item cards. So even if you had Switch, you couldn't use it. The only way to get your Pokemon able to attack that turn is to excuse me, is to use Keldeo to rush in. Or Audino, but most people don't play Audino. Usually people run Keldeo solely for the purpose of rushing in and retreating to get out of poison. Paralysis is really only prevalent in GothiGor decks. So why does he run Mew, you may ask? Well, Mew has an ability called Versatile. So long as you have the necessary energy attached to it, you are able to use the attacks of any Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's. So with Mew in there, you can have Accelgor use its Deck and Cover, but it's not Accelgor doing it, it's Mew. And that means that you can have Accelgor in play, and as long as you have Accelgor in play, you can keep using Deck and Cover turn after turn after turn. That's pretty much the gist of this deck. Use Mew in replacement for Accelgor whenever you can, and you're good to go. So it's my turn. I play 2 Catcher, and I flip tails on both of them. Ironically, the same number 5, which is odds, which equals tails. So I'm debating whether to put Mr. Mime on the bench, and I decide against it because GothiGor decks have nothing that can target the bench. That's just one thing hogging my bench space, and there's nothing I can really do. Now, Gothitelle's Magic Room ability does not shut off supporters, so if I want, whenever I can play supporters, but that's about it. Otherwise, I am stuck with absolutely nothing I can do. And here I'm trying to get a turn 1 Night Spear, just because I know I need to knock out that Mew to get one of my prizes, and I know that Keldeo's not in my deck after searching with my... I forgot what I searched with, but I know Keldeo's not in my deck. I need it, and I'm hoping that I can get a turn 1 Night Spear, knock out the Mew EX. So I played Professor Juniper a while back trying to get 2 Dark Patch, an Energy Switch, and a Verbank and a Laser. And unfortunately, that is a lot to ask for off of Juniper. So I got the Laser, and I think that was it. Unless the Dark Patch was from that as well. But long story short, I did not get the turn 1 Night Spear, and I know I need to catch a lucky break far down the line, because if he can just keep getting Mews and Accelgors into play, he just needs 1 Gothitelle, and he is set. And there's nothing I can do about it. So I played an Energy Search there. I got a Darkness Energy. Bicycle for 1. There's the Energy Switch, but I don't have enough energy in play to do a Night Spear. And I wouldn't be able to knock out the Mew EX anyway. I would need a Dark Claw or a Verbank. And I don't have any of those. So I just passed. Let's see what Michael draws here. So, like I said, this deck surprisingly won US Nationals. I don't think anyone could have called that. They were all thinking maybe a Plasma deck, or a Blastoise deck, or maybe even a Darkrai deck, but no, GothiGor won. And that caught a bunch of people off guard. So, I personally thought at that time that people would be more inclined to play GothiGor at Worlds. That didn't happen. More people actually ended up building techs to go against GothiGor for Worlds. Like they would start running 2 Keldeo instead of 1 in their decks, stuff like that. Regardless, GothiGor was not in even the top 32 at Worlds. Very few people played it. It was US Nationals 13 was probably its largest thing. So here's where it goes. He made his Mew EX with its versatile ability use deck and cover. Since I resist psychic Pokemon, I only took 30 from that, 40 after poison. Now I am paralyzed and poisoned, and his Gothitelle prevents me from using items. I can power up another Darkrai for when this one gets knocked out, but that's all I can do. I pass, and I'm not paralyzed anymore, but I'm still poisoned. Poison lasts indefinitely. Let's see what he draws off of his stuff there. He's going to play Dowsing Machine, get rid of Tropical Beach, and I think that was a switch, maybe? He got a rare candy, that's what he did. He got a rare candy and skipped Gothorita, went straight to Gothitelle. Now he has 2 Gothitelle in play. Even if I can knock out one, there's still another one for me to deal with. And he plays in. So the reason I only took 30 from that instead of 50, like the card says I need to, is because even if Mew is using another Pokemon's attacks, it is still attacking itself. So since I resist the Pokemon that is attacking and not the Pokemon that the attack was from, I only take 30 damage. And then, of course, Poison takes 10 between turns, so I'm at 50 now. Actually, I'm at a lot. He just moved his Accelgor up and decked and covered and moved his Gothitelle back up into the active position. So I'm now at 110 damage and stuck there. And I really, really need a lucky break. He has 2 Gothitelles in play, and he needs an Accelgor now, or else I can start doing damage. So I think I drew nothing. It looks like I didn't draw anything. Well, I drew a laser, I think. And I can't play Hypnotoxic Laser because it's an item card. So I play my own in. Because, like I said, I can still play supporters. And I can play stadiums, too. Several times during this game, I did have the Burbank City Gym, and I really wanted to knock out his Tropical Beach. But when I was about to do it, I realized, no, that's going to increase the damage output on my Darkrai. And it's not going to help me, it's going to hurt me, and it'll actually help him a lot. So I decided to leave the Tropical Beach in play, and actually last turn I should have used Tropical Beach on my own, just to get an extra card in my hand, but I didn't, because I completely forgot it was there. Simply that. No excuse, that was just me not paying attention. But I'm going to use Tropical Beach here. Draw 1, and my turn. So it's now his turn. I think he played Level Ball there to get a Duskull. And again, Dusknoir is more of a tech than a necessary thing, but it really does help. The way Dusknoir works is, as often as you like during your turn, you may move 1 damage counter from one of your opponent's Pokemon and move it to another one of your opponent's Pokemon. It spreads the damage. So, as long as you just keep the same Pokemon active, you can spread the damage. You can get it very close to being knocked out with deck and cover, and then you could just move the damage to something else on the bench. And that way, your opponent's active Pokemon is always asleep, and not asleep, it's always paralyzed and poisoned during your opponent's turn. There is nothing your opponent can do about it. Pretty much this is just a lock deck. You know, I think he has an Accelgor off camera because he just moved his Mew up and used deck and cover right there. And that was that. So I draw off of my top deck a Darkrai, and I put in energy on Darkrai, begin to power that up. And it looks like I have a Juniper in my hand, maybe another N. There's not much I can do. It's not a decision of what attack can I use, which item cards can I use. This is a matter of, am I going to use the supporter this turn or not? And that's all I can do. Looks like I play Professor Juniper. Draw a new hand of 7. I do have computer search, but I can't play that because it's an item. As you can see there, I had the Verbank, and I am not going to play that because that will result in me getting knocked out this turn, and that's not what I want. because that's 2 free prizes for him, and he gets to, and he gets to deck and cover against a new Darkrai or Sableye or whatever I promote. Long story short, it's going to hurt me and help him. That's not what I want. So I just pass after placing a Sableye on the bench. Looks like he put a... Oh, and I Tropical Beached as well. He put a Accelgor down. He's going to Level Ball. Oh, he also Rare Candied into a Dusknoir, so now he can move around damage as he wants. Which is good for him because in between turns this time, I would be knocked out. So he's going to use Sinister Hand, that's what Dusknoir's ability is, to spread the damage a little later down. It looks like he used Level Ball to get a Gothitelle out. No complaints. I think a Shelmet would have been a little better to put out, but you know, that's fine. So I think he Ultra Balled there for a Mew. He put Mew on the bench. Now he has Mew that can use deck and cover, and 2 Accelgors that can use deck and cover. So he can safely promote one of them and use deck and cover, and he would still have one available for next turn. The reason you want to use Mew instead of Accelgor, generally, is because Accelgor takes 2 turns to set up, whereas Mew only takes 1. If you get a Mew and a double colorless energy, you are good to go. Whereas with Accelgor, first you need to play the Shelmet, and then you need to wait another turn before you can evolve into Accelgor. And that's why Mew is the main attacker of this game. Actually, I think in a preferable game, you only ever attack with Mew and promote Gothitelle right after to use Magic Room. So, my turn, can do nothing. I Tropical Beach for 1 and pass. His turn, he has Skyla, trying to search his deck and see what he has in there. He doesn't want... he always wants to draw the right cards. If he deck and covers all his cards into his deck, and then doesn't draw what he needs, then that's just... that's not what he needs. So he's going to Sinister Hand the damage off my Darkrai and move it onto my 2 benched Darkrai EXs. He's going to promote his Mew, deck and cover, my turn. And as you can see, I have not attacked once this entire game. In fact, I have not done anything this entire game except play supporters and a few trainers during my first turn. This is why GothiGor is so dang good. That being said, this is probably the best possible game GothiGor can see, but also it is one of the games that is so easy to set up with it, because it's not the fastest deck, but once it's set up, it is devastating. And especially with all the trainer cards and supporters these days, you can get just about anything you need when you need it. So looks like he's going to play in here. We both still have 6 cards in our prized cards, despite this being so late in the game, and it is late in the game. Just look at the damage spread. I mean, in 3 turns, he can just use Sinister Hand to knock out the 3 Darkrai's all at the same time. Yeah, 6 prizes in 1 turn. Not unheard of, but still, that is just crazy. So he played in. Out of his 6 cards, he drew a Mew. I think he may have already attached a double colorless energy this turn. Yeah, he attached that Mew EX. He's going to retreat into Mew, deck and cover, and that's that. It's now my turn. I'm paralyzed and poisoned. I can play a supporter, and that would be it. And it looks like that's what I'm going to do. I kind of feel bad that I waited so long that he actually finished shuffling his deck, but oh well. I attach a Dark Energy to Sableye, nothing else I could do. He's just showing me that of 3 of the cards he drew from his end, no, of the 6 cards he drew from his end, 3 of them were double colorless energy. Not bad. In fact, that's actually very, very good. That means that you have them in hand ready to attach to your Pokemon. But still, half your cards were double colorless energy, and you can only run 4 in a deck, tops. Looks like he did it again. 3 of his 6 cards were double colorless energy. That's good, like I said, but still. So I pass. I Tropical Beach for my turn. Tropical Beach. You draw cards until you have 7 in your hand, and then your turn ends. And amazingly, his top deck there was a double colorless energy. So he has all 4 in his hand. That's crazy. So, Tropical Beach, when it was first being played, everyone hated it because, well, not when it was first played, but when it was first announced, everyone hated it because it's like, who would want to do this? I mean, you're losing a turn by using that. But then someone teched it into his deck to the point where not only was it good, he used his deck to get in the top 4 at the World Championships that year. So now it's seeing a whole lot of play. That's why it's a $200 card, because it's a Worlds promo. There are only so many of them in the world, and most of them go to players who can afford to put them in their decks. I've heard a rumor that it may be banned in the future. If so, I honestly can't say I would complain. That being said, it does really help a lot of decks like GothiGor and even decks like Blastoise. It really helps them get a lead where they wouldn't otherwise. So I play my own in, and he draws cards again. 2 of them were double colorless energy. 2 out of 6 is better than 3 out of 6. Nothing I can do. I just Tropical Beach for 1 and pass. And he's going to start moving damage with Sinister Hand. I'm positive that there's an Accelgor out of shot. I just, it was a mixture of my poor camera angling. I sort of set this camera up poorly. I apologize for that. But you're not missing much. 3 of my prize cards and an Accelgor, and that's that. Well, and his, deck and discard pile, but he doesn't run a deck that requires the discard pile. He runs a deck that requires what's in the deck. And with deck and cover, which he's going to do right now, he can just keep putting stuff in the deck and make sure he never decks out. He's drawing 1 card per turn, and he's shuffling 2 in. And that's... And actually right here, towards the end of the game, when your deck is that thin, that's where you want it to be. Because there's incredibly high chances that you'll pull exactly what you need off your next top deck. And if you don't, then you ideally have supporters and item cards in your hand that let you get what you need. And you know what's in there because you decked and covered so many times. So, my turn. I don't have a supporter, so I'm probably going to pass because I already have 7 cards in my hand. Actually, more. And Tropical Beach only works till you have 7 in your hands, so I pass. His turn. I move the damage back. And his turn, and he's doing the damage calculations very carefully. He really wants to knock out 3 EXs, take 6 prizes, all in the same turn. That's what he's going to do. He's going to Sinister Hand, move the energy, doing the calculations very carefully. He only has 1 Accelgor. He also has a Mew with no energy attached, so if he has a double colorless in his hand, and he does, then he could just attach to Mew, promote it as his new active, use deck and cover. He's going to Skyla here just to see what he has left. Ooh, he only has 2 things to Skyla for, an in and a Skyla. He Skylas for a Skyla. I don't think that happens too often. So, he is trying to decide if there's anything else he wants to do. There isn't. He's going to promote his Mew, deck and cover. I now have 140 damage on me. That'll be 150 after it comes back to his turn. And that'll be 150 on... I'm sorry. 150 on me and 180 on the bench. He can easily move 2 of those damage counters to the bench, and actually I help him out incredibly by doing this. I play my Verbank instead of knock out his Tropical Beach. He can use Sinistry Hand to move 2 of the damage counters from my Darkrai to the 2 benched ones and take 4 prizes, and then use Deck and Cover for the last 3 damage counters on the active and take his last 2. That's what he will do. As you can see, during this entire game, I did not attack once. I played 3 item cards total, and I did not take a single prize. I did not retreat. I did not move any of my Pokemon anywhere. I played 1 stadium. My entire game was spent with me playing supporters and playing Tropical Beach and drawing my card for my turn. That is the power of GothiGor. It completely stops your opponent dead. You see how active he was on his side. That was absolutely incredible. As I said, I don't think that GothiGor ever could have a better play than that, but that was very impressive. Michael built that deck very well. As you saw there, my Keldeo was my very first prize. If I had managed to turn 1 Night Spear, I would have had the Keldeo. And here someone brings up a card, and they were asking, is it a fake card? And yes, it is. I'll explain that maybe some other time. Maybe I'll do a video on how to identify fake cards. But anyway, GothiGor. I think it's a great deck. I absolutely hated playing against it, and this really helped me figure out my strategy. For example, if I were any more of a novice player, I probably would have played Verbank early on to get rid of his Tropical Beach, but I didn't, because I knew it would help me out, and it would help him out and hurt me a lot. So anyway, that's probably it for this battle video. Thanks everyone for watching. Won't be making more videos till next week, and stay tuned for more.